Hello again. Let's look today at configuration packages in Business Central and how we can use them. So, for example, if we have more data, yes, obviously we can do, for example, vendors manually and insert them one by one. But if we had a big lot of vendors that needed to be uploaded in Business Central, we can always use these configuration packages to do so. So to do so, we search for configuration packages in Business Central. I'm just going to, I just have one here, but I can create a new one. So this is what you need to do. You create a new configuration package, you give it a name. So let's say vendors, because I need to load vendors. And you give it a code, you give it a name. And then you need to define which table ID needs to be loaded in Business Central. So a couple of ways to do so and understand which tables need to. So here we've got table ID and currently it's 0. If you click on the line and then on the 3 dots, you've got a whole list in which you can search for the relevant table ID that you need to upload in Business Central. Okay, I need my vendors, which is table ID 23. I'm going to select it and click OK. Now I'll just move back after in Business Central and show you exactly how you can find these table IDs if you're not sure or if you don't know exactly what the name of it is in Business Central. It's very easy. And we will see it in shortly. Okay, let's make this bigger so we can see all the information. So now I've got my config package here with the vendor table. I'm going to get this question here. Some fields have 2 or more related tables. Do you want to check them? We say yes. These are the fields. I'm just going to close it for the time being. And going back to my vendors now, there are a couple of things that you need to be aware when you're doing a config pack. Okay. So obviously you can export this out, which is something that I will be showing you in shortly. And this is the way that the config pack needs to be used. So you export out this Excel spreadsheet, you fill it with the data that you need to be loaded in Business Central, and then you upload it back. Very simple. But let's start with the table and the fields that are available for you. So as you can see here, I've got my table ID 23. Currently, there are no package records because I've just created, so I haven't imported anything. You've got a number of fields available, number of fields included, which, just so that you know the difference, the number of fields available are all the tables behind relevant to the vendor. We will look at them in shortly. And the fields included are the ones that are going to be included on the exported file from here. This line is also giving you some information of the number of database records. It says 6, which means that in the system now you've got 6 database records. If I go now to vendors, then you see here that I have 6 vendors. So these are my vendors. Okay, so I'll go back now and let's see exactly what do we mean by number of fields available and number of fields included. If I click on number of fields available, and by the way, you can get to here also by using these options here. So manage, new line, table, etc. Okay, so number of fields available. I click on the number. For me it's easier to do so. Let's maximize this one, and as you can see, I've got all the fields, all the information related to a vendor. So everything that you see on the vendor card is in here listed. Obviously, we're not going to need all of this, and obviously, we don't need to fill absolutely everything. Maybe some of you will need to, but to make our life easier, we do not want an Excel spreadsheet with 85 columns. So what I tend to do usually is you edit the list. So you've got two options. You either go manually and tick whatever you don't need. So I don't need address to, we don't need contact, we don't need territory, we don't need, so you go one by one. Okay, but be aware that these are 85 rows here, which is 85 columns in your Excel spreadsheet. Or you can do clear included, which is going to clear absolutely everything here. Yeah, and manually, again, you go and include the tables that you need on your spreadsheet. As you can see here, I've got the number. This one is gray out because this is a primary key. You will not be able to remove the number. So this is the number series of the vendor. So you hit the columns that you need to have on the spreadsheet, select the ones that you want manually, just for showing you exactly what I mean with the number fields included in the spreadsheets and how that looks like. For the time being, I'm going to select all of them and leave it as it is. And I'm just going to export it. I've got an export to Excel here. I click on it, yes, and this is downloading onto my PC, local downloads, whatever you have set that with your browser engine, an Excel file. If I open this, as you can see now, obviously I need to enable the editing. This is the spreadsheet with the information on the vendors that I currently have in Business Central. As you can see, I've got 6 vendors and I've got all of those columns, which were the number fields existing. Okay, so available and the ones that I've got. So as you can see, I've got everything in here. But as mentioned before, I will not need all of this one. So I'm closing. I'm not going to save it for the time being. Okay, and now because I don't need all the included fields, okay, I'm going again, or I can go on the number of fields included if I want to. I will do edit list. I'll clear included. Here, as you can see, I've got a filter, clear filter. I can see all of the fields here now, and I'll select what I actually want to see. I want to see name. I want to see, what else? I'm just going to pick up randomly a couple of things that I think I will need to see. You can obviously pick up exactly the fields that you need, like you might need email, you might need some posting groups to make your life easier and etc. For the purpose of just showing this configuration package, I'll just leave these columns, the ones that you can see. I'm going back one step and I will export now to Excel. I've got another file. I'll open this one. And as you can see now, because I've only selected 6 columns, I've got exactly 6 columns in here. Ouch. Let me apply that. So I've got my 6 vendors and the columns that I selected and wanted to see. So what I can do here, let's say I can have a second spreadsheet that I've received, I don't know, from my manager with the vendor list, or I can manually just put here. So let's give it the number series, and I'm hoping that the system is going to allow me to create manual number series. If not, it's just going to prompt me with an error. So I'll put that and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here, just call it sample vendor 1. The next one will be sample vendor 2. And I'm just going to ignore the rest of the information. I just want it to appear in the list. So I've done my changes in this spreadsheet. You need to remember which one it is. because this is the same spreadsheet that you will upload afterwards in Business Central. So 210332. After you've saved all the changes that you needed, you close the spreadsheet and you go back to your configuration package. Actually, you haven't moved from this page anyways, and you do import from Excel. And this time you can either click on that file, drop it here, or you just browse into your PC and you search for the Excel spreadsheet that you've just created. 2103, this was the one. I'm going to open it. And as you can see here, I've got my vendor table ID 23 that I need to import. It's currently reddish because it's finding it in Business Central. Now I do import. And can you see now that I've got a number of package records, 8. So it's not 0 anymore, it's 8. Number of database records are 6. These are my previous ones. So I've imported everything, but nothing has happened because I need to apply this package. So remember, this is a very important step. You need to always apply the package to reflect on the changes. If there are going to be any errors, any issues, I'm going to see them here. So this number will be in red and is going to give a number of the errors that I've got. So let's see if I have anything. I'm applying the data. I say yes. One table are processed, 0 errors, 2 records. Okay. Now my number of package records is 0 back again. The number of database records is 8. If I go to vendors, or if I simply click on number 8, but if clicking on the number of the database record is not always going to take you to the relevant people, just to let you know. It is at this time. So I've got now my vendor list in which, as you can see, I also have the 2 new added vendors here. The other thing that I wanted to show you on your config package here, let's say that you would use this config package to update multiple tables, but you don't need to update those tables always. So let's say we've got in this config package, we've got payment terms as well, and we might have also something that it's going to be done fast. Fine. Finance charge terms. So I'm picking this up as well. So obviously, because I have it here and I don't want to go and create another configuration package at some other point in time to do my vendors, and I just want to use this one. When you're doing here the export to Excel, this is exporting the entire package, which are a spreadsheet, one Excel spreadsheet with 3 working sheets on it. Okay, so because I don't want to export everything and I want to do it individually, instead of doing export import in the ribbon and then apply package, you can do it per line. So if I just want to do the vendor or just the payment terms or 2 of them only, I've got here on the table, if you go to Excel, there's also an export to Excel and import from Excel. So let's say that this time I just want to do the payment terms. So I've got my payment terms selected. I want to also have the finance charge terms, and I need to do a couple of changes or add some more records to it, add more payment terms, etc. I do export to Excel. So I've selected these 2, or you can only have one line selected or multiple. 2 tables have been selected. Do you want to continue? Yes. I've exported my Excel out, and if I open now, can you see that I've got an Excel spreadsheet, one, with 2 working sheets in which I can do my changes, add whatever I want to add, etc. Once I'm done with all the changes that I needed to do, I will save that file again locally, and then I come back to Business Central. I don't need to have selected, unselected absolutely anything. Yeah, I just do import from Excel, and I pick that file up. And once that's done, the system says that is done. I can go to functions. You can also, as an extra step and as an extra precaution, you can also first do validate relations if there are any tables that have relations within the amount that table IDs, or even if you just want to check for errors, you do validate relations and then you do apply data. After you've done apply data, the data will only be applied to the table IDs that you have on that spreadsheet that you imported. Okay, very easy. Let's see now another config package, which could be a bit more interesting. And a lot of people might use this one. Let's say that we have journals, multiple lines, multiple payment lines, and we want to use configuration package. For this purpose, I'm just going to call it journals. And I do a copy and I do a paste. Okay. So for journals, as I mentioned before, I need to show you how you can find the table ID. Didn't I? Yes, I did. So let's find for general journals. Same way I'm searching for a table number for journals, you can search for other tables. So general journal, let's say that here I want 100 lines and I don't want to manually do it. So the way to find for your general journal for batch default a table ID is you do Control Alt F1 on your keyboard, which is going to bring you the page inspection page. Or if you don't feel comfortable to use the keyboard, in the ribbon you got the question mark with help, and you click on help and support, and then you'll go inspect pages in data. Inspect pages in data is giving you exactly the same page as the page inspection page. The help part, you can close it. There's an X here, and you are left with the page inspection. Now I'm on the general journal here, and I can see that my table ID is here, general journal line 81. So this is the number that I need, 81. I always look at the table ID. Now, if you need to know a different table ID for, as we were previously in vendors, yeah? For vendors, for example, I can always leave my page inspection and this will move with me through Business Central, and I can, as I am, search for vendors. And as you can see, I'm on the vendor list and my table ID changed to 23 here, the vendor. Same thing for customers. I still have the page inspection, haven't moved a finger, and it's still chasing me through Business Central. And I can see the customer table ID and so on. You can find items, you can find item tracking information, item attributes, location, etc. Anything that you need in Business Central. So I know that my journal table is 81. In case you're curious about payment journals, for example, it will be the same journal table ID. Okay, and you will see shortly why I say so. So now I created my configuration package card, which is called journals. I give it a code, I give it a name, and I will put as a table ID without even searching. Remember that you can search by manually writing the name. 81, which was the general journal line. Now, if I'm going to export this out, for the time being, I'm not going to be bothered about the number of fields available and included. If I'm going to export this out, be aware that it's going to export out all the batches, all the journals that I've got in Business Central, and that might not be what I actually need. So to prove that, let's start by doing some journals. So I'll do general journals. I don't need to bother the config package. It's there. It's just going to some fields. How to, or I'm clicking yes. I can close this one. So let's go and search for general journal. Let's say GL account something, and let's put 100, and I'm going to stop here. This is the batch default in my general journal, and I can put in the monthly one as well, a line 50 here for GL account. I'm not even bothered. I can do a fixed general ledger journal, and in the default one I am adding a fixed asset, hoping that I have one. I have one, okay. And I put 100. I don't need to post. I don't know if I'm correct or not, but I just needed a couple of journals. So I'm back on my configuration package card. Obviously, number package records, there's nothing. Number of database records probably hasn't updated, but let's have a look if it gets anything. Yeah. Pencil. Now there are 7 because I loaded some data. As you can see, number of fields available, number of fields included, exactly like with the previous one. You can change and adjust and remove whatever you don't need. So for the purpose of not having too much to write down or search for the list, I'm just going to edit clear included. Obviously, the primary keys are there. As I mentioned before, I'm clearing my filters. I got template, batch, line number. Let's do account type, account number, and amount. Okay, so we do that. And obviously, if I export this out, which is something that I will do now, export package journals, yes, you will see that it's exporting out all of my journals that I currently have in Business Central, and all of that happens in one spreadsheet. So let me just select. So remember that I created a fixed asset, fixed general ledger, fixed asset general ledger journal. That's here, as you can see, default, and I've put something in it, okay? For the fixed asset, I don't remember what it was, but I got some information. Then I also created in the general batch one, the daily batch one, I had a line. Then I had again a couple of lines here for this one, and also on my payment journal, as you can see, on different batches, on 2 different batches, I've got some other entries. This is not exactly what I wanted. So let's say that I only needed the payment. I don't want to see those ones. Those are bothering me at this point. So what I can do about that? Now I'm going to close the Excel spreadsheet. I don't need to save it. So to fix this tiny issue of mine, I can set some filters. So here in my ribbon, as you can see, I've got table, and then I've got filters. So if I go on my filters, I can search for the field ID that I want my filter to be on. So I can specify the journal template name and the batch name and whatever I need. So let's say that I want the journal template. Let's say that I want the batch. Yeah, the journal template name, which is going to be payment. The only thing that you need to make sure is that the name is exactly as you've got in Business Central. And I also want a second filter on the batch. I don't know exactly which one it is, so I'm just going to search in the ribbon. It's journal batch name. I don't know the name, so because I don't know the name, I'm just going to do that. payment journal. So my name is payment journal. I want the general. Okay, fine. General. So I've got the tiny filter that I've added onto my general journal line configuration package, and I'm hoping now that I will be able to export out a spreadsheet which will have a filter, and it will only give me the payment journal lines. I'm hoping that I got it right. So there you go. As you can see now, I've got my general journal table 81 with a filter on it only on my payment journals for the journal batch general. Obviously you can have various batch names and you can use that. So what I can do, remember that in my payment journal batch the journals, I only had 2 lines in the general one, the one that I looked. So what I can do, I can add multiple. You can do either this or you can copy from another spreadsheet. This spreadsheet, as it is, you can save it in your PC and then load again multiple information. And I can drag down here my general batch. I always need this URL primary key, and obviously the line needs to go down. You don't necessarily need to type everything like I'm doing. You can simply just drag down. For some reason, it doesn't go as I'm expecting, so I will type it. 50,000. So it just needs to go as in an incrementation. You might want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to make it easier for you. Okay, so the account type is always going to be vendor here because I'm doing a payment on my vendor. What's this? The account number. This is the account number is the vendor number in Business Central. So obviously, let's say that I'm hoping that I've got a vendor with number series 20,000, and I'm sure that I've got a 30,000 as well. But I don't know exactly, so I'm just going to use the same vendor. And I put here multiple amounts that I need to pay to these people. Okay. If we get any errors, even better, because this way you can also see about the errors. So I take a note of the name of my Excel spreadsheet. I save it. And after I save this one, I'm going to close it and I'll come back to my Business Central, and then I do import from Excel. Import from Excel. 2120, this was the Excel spreadsheet. I do import and I've got 6 records. CS7 were already in. Let's do apply and cross our fingers. We don't have any issues. That's bad. I wanted some issues. Okay, fine. So 1 tables are processed, 0 errors, 4 records, 2 modified. Okay. So now we've got 11 data in our database record. Again, if I click on number 11, it didn't actually do what I was expecting. So because I've got filters, it only takes you to the journal, but it takes you to the general journal. So you still need to type for payment journal because we were looking at that one specifically, or from the general journal, the one that I was on, you could select the necessary batch. So obviously, because I didn't fill the document type and number, etc., but I filled the rest. So I've got my vendors, which I filled in. I've got the amount, as you can see. So I managed to load in Business Central. I don't have the balancing account, but that's something that can be fixed either by sorting it out on the batch itself, or you can do it again in your Excel spreadsheet. So this is how you can load in Business Central more information by using configuration package. Now with the journal here, remember this is just loading. It's not posting for you. Okay, so the posting part, you still need to do it manually. And that's it.